touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you.
Report by former FBI Director Louis Freeh painted a very damning picture of Penn State University leaders covering up and ignoring evidence that Jerry Sandusky was sexually abusing children.
In your opinion, how should the NCAA punish Penn State?
I think the NCAA should give Penn State the death penalty. We could say egregious, disgusting, reprehensible, amoral.
First, the NCAA is imposing a fine of $60 million on the university. Second, Penn State football will be banned from bowl games and any other postseason play for 4 years. Third, Penn State's football team will have its initial scholarships reduced from 25 to 15 per year for a period of 4 years. Fourth, the NCAA vacates all wins of the Penn State football team from 1998 to 2011, and the records will reflect these changes.
After the sanctions were announced, attention turned to how the university and its members would react. Many students, staff members, alumni, and people throughout the country felt that these sanctions were too harsh and punished the wrong people. Still, others believed the sanctions were too lenient. Most of us received our news from television and the internet. What about the people on campus? The football players, the staff, the students? How did they really feel about the sanctions and the administration's reaction?
It was obviously a blow, kind of frustrating because, we really hadn't done anything wrong. This is things that supposedly happened many, many years ago with people that weren't even around anymore. So frustrating in a sense, but then, you got to make a decision. Do you wallow in your own self-pity and say, oh, woe is me? Or do you say, look, we still got a great opportunity here. We can play all our games. We can do it with a passion and a vigor and a sense of urgency that we never had before because of this. So that's what we decided to do. We decided to move forward. That was something that Coach really preached, and something we bought into and tried to do every day of the season.
It was quite not good. So my dad screamed at the TV. No, he said he was going to not buy tickets ever again. And I said, Dad, no, you're going to regret that. And so he still bought us tickets. But it was like the sinking feeling in your stomach where you're like, oh no, crap's about to hit the fan. And crap hit the fan kind of hard and probably broke the fan. So it's been a bumpy ride the past couple years.
I understood where they were coming from. I understood why they did that. I was a little taken aback that they stripped the tournament of 111 wins. It seemed to be overstepping their bounds. That hurt. That was a little disheartening to hear that they're going to take something away from a man who's not even allowed to defend himself. And then all the wins I'd never seen Penn State achieve, something counted for nothing. Or so they said. But I understood the rest of it. So I wasn't upset or anything, just accepting.
Yeah.
They responded profit motivated. Was the reason they did what they did. At first I was pretty upset at how they just kind of rolled over and took the sanctions, didn't bother appealing them, didn't bother fighting them. But at the end of the day, they've got to protect the profitability of the university, all these buildings they're building, and they had to basically apologize to the 49 other states that aren't Pennsylvania. Like a guy in California, all he knows is Penn State had a pedophile that came here. And if we appeal the sanctions, it might look to people that aren't from Pennsylvania that we're a bunch of whiners and that we're like some sick people who won't move on. So in order to protect the brand, they had to make it seem like, we are moving on, we accept that we messed up. And they knew full well that by not appealing the sanctions, they were going to make angry people who go to Penn State, people who haven't gone to Penn State. But they didn't care that they were going to make us angry because they're using our love of Penn State against us. They knew that we would just come crawling back anyway, which we did. Better or for worse. So they were right. They made the right decision.
Penn
Penn State, I thought failed miserably. Actually, I think they reacted very well. They didn't react. That's the problem. They didn't say anything. You know, again, as I've said in the past, the two worst things. The worst thing you could say to a reporter in the media is no comment. And the second worst is you don't say anything at all. You just stick your head in the sand and just hope that it'll go away. But it's not like a fine wine. You know, the bad news is bad news. It doesn't get better with age. So they handled it poorly. They didn't speak.
We have an obligation to Penn State, and we have the ability to fight for not just a team, not just a program, but an entire university and every man that wore the blue and white on that gridiron before us. We're going to embrace this opportunity, and we're going to make something very special happen in 2012.
And it's knocking heads and talking trash. It's slinging mud and dirt and grass. It's I got your number, I got your back. When your back's against the wall, you mess with one man, you got a song. The boys are fall.
Like, this is Penn State's part of my life. You know, it's not just a place I play football. Not only am I enmeshed with the football, you know, aspect of things here, but also just like student life, like other organizations I'm in, the people that I'm friends with. You know, it's a great place. You know, so you know, I have entertained, you know, a few things that people came to ask me, maybe, but to be honest, I think this is my journey, and I knew it. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like, I mean, everyone praises us, our senior class, for keeping things together and all that, and you know, we kind of did, I guess, whatever, as leaders of the team. But the guys who had the toughest decision to make were like the freshmen and the sophomores. You know, the guys who either haven't experienced the bowl game at all, or maybe experienced one, and that was about it. You know, here I was blessed with 4 great years of football, 4 great years of postseason bowl games. You know, and here I'd miss one here this season. You know, and it hurts because it's your last one. But I was blessed with a lot before, so. You know, it's kudos to those dudes who said, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick here. I'm going to have faith in this place and this team, and I'm going to move forward from there.
Mm-hmm. And then,
I think the football team, well, they could have packed it in and said, you know, this is useless. Why even try? Just pack the season, maybe the next 4 seasons away, and go on, move on. For those who left the team, you know, good riddance. Should have stayed. That tells me something about your loyalty and your discipline and dedication, that you're only thinking of yourself. The kids who stayed, and wow, what a season, in spite of all this, you know, I applaud them, and they've done a great job. Bill O'Brien was the absolute right person for this job. His demeanor, his forcefulness, his exuberance can't be, it just can't be beat. He's done a great job.